With Uber Reserve, you can book your Uber ride in advance, 90 days in advance. Perfect for all you forward thinkers and planning gurus. Reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. Uber Reserve. See Uber app for details.
Welcome to the Instagram Stories for Monday, June 21st. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. On Mondays, we consider what head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, answered in his Ask Me Anything on Friday. And this week, he actually had some really great questions. I really liked the questions that people submitted that he took the time to answer. Let's get into some of my favorites. First, have you ever had such a long list of people who viewed your story that you wished there was a way you could search through them? That's not something I ever thought about before, but it's actually a good idea. That's the question someone asked. Will users be able to search who viewed their story? Here's his answer.
I don't know. We're not currently working on it, but I was just thinking about that this morning. It seems like it would be useful to be able to at least sort or filter who viewed your story in case you wanted to look for someone for any reason.
We'll see if Instagram ever implements something like that. Next question. Why do some of my accounts have Reels and some of them don't? Any solution? Great question. This has historically been very frustrating when you don't have a feature that you specifically would love to use. Here's the answer.
A very small percentage of people don't have Reels because we want to make sure we understand the effects of Reels, and so we compare how they use Instagram to everybody else. But for the vast majority of people who don't have it, it's because you're in a country where we don't yet have the music rights.
The problem with that answer is if you're in a country where they do have the music rights and you still don't have it, what are you supposed to do then? The lack of support that Instagram has continues to be an extremely frustrating experience. Let's go on to the next question. One of my photos has reached 600 likes within 3 days, and the rest can't reach 100. Why? Great question, and I actually like how they phrased it because the way they phrase the question indicates that they're happy with that success, but there's nothing they can do to replicate it, which is fairly accurate. Here's the answer.
Every once in a while you see something do much better than the rest of what you post. There's different reasons for this, but one plausible one is it got picked up in Explore. So a lot of people saw it who don't actually follow you, which isn't going to happen consistently, but every once in a while is a nice surprise.
Okay, I think it's great that he explained how the Explore page works. It's excellent that you have the opportunity to make it onto the Explore page, but how could you possibly replicate that so you could do it again consistently? I understand they can't offer consistency, but if you are making the same type of content and something does well and the rest of it doesn't, there's just not enough information to help you to make good decisions so that you can try to repeat that event. All right, next question. Can you show my stories to more people, please? Last year, 6 to 7% of my friends saw my stories. That seems pretty low, 6 to 7%, but it depends how many followers they have and on how interesting their stories are, frankly. Here's the answer.
Those numbers sound low, but most people don't see most of the stories that they can, which is why we rank content and try to show people what they're interested in first, but quite simply it's impossible for them to see everything because most people don't have the time.
Okay, I don't really think that answered the question, but he is right. People follow a lot of other people. Certainly nobody watches all the stories from all the people they follow. That would be ridiculous. And Instagram does prioritize showing you stories that it thinks you will be most interested in and care about first as you go through your stories. So you're never going to make it through everyone's. That's just not possible. But that didn't really answer the question at all. Before I end the show, I want to give a huge shout out to Will from Quiet Events and the rest of the Quiet Events team. If you're not familiar, go back and listen to episode 26 of my podcast, The Instagram Stories, where I interviewed Will from Quiet Events. Quiet Events is a company that creates multi-DJ parties. You go to a party which has wireless headphones, or you can rent the headphones, and you can have multiple DJs playing on different channels. So you can flip between the headphone stations and hear different types of music, and your neighbors are none the wiser. I did this over the weekend. It was absolutely awesome. My friends had a blast, and it was really nice to be able to enjoy music that I like while someone right next to me was listening to music that they like and I not so much enjoy. Okay, check out episode 26 of my podcast. Check out Will's company, Quiet Events. They're doing really, really cool stuff. Thanks so much for listening to the show, and come back tomorrow for more Instagram news.